Good morning. Welcome to Yoga Within. I'm Melanie. I'm going to lead you through your class this morning. Just to let you know, I've never done a live class before, even though I've taught for 30 years. This is the first time I'm doing this on YouTube, so I'm a little bit nervous. And the only reason I'm here is because my kids made me. So let's get started. And just find your most comfortable position, whether it's sitting up or lying down. If you are lying down, just make sure your neck's comfortable. If your back bothering you, let your knees bend. And just take a long, deep breath in and a long, deep breath out. Just let your body begin to settle. Take a moment just to check in with your breath. And you may even find that you want to rest one hand on your belly and one hand on your upper chest. And just start to feel the breath as it moves within you. Don't force it, just let it come and let it go. Notice the breath as it moves through the front body and gently into the back body. Trying not to judge it, but just noticing the quality of your breath. I am breathing in. I am breathing out. Let your awareness move to your thoughts. Just start to notice your thoughts. Again, not trying to judge, but just noticing. Try to accept your thoughts for what they are. Take a breath in and take a breath out, trying to let one or two thoughts drift by until slowly, breath by breath, our mind slows down and we begin to let go. Allowing the tensions of the day to melt away from the body. Trying to welcome this stillness, this breath. Slowly the awareness begins to return. Just gently allowing movement back into your fingers or toes. Start to rotate your wrists, your ankles, moving in both directions. And then let your head roll gently from side to side, maybe up and down a bit. Just noticing what is your range of motion in your neck today. If your eyes are closed, let your eyes open. If you're in a seated position, if it's comfortable, try to bring yourself down onto your back. And take a moment, just interlace your fingers. Stretch your palms up, stretch your legs out if your back doesn't bother you. Take a really big deep breath in, and as you breathe out, start to bring your arms to the ground above your head, tighten everything. And then a long, loud letting go exhalation as you release. And again, interlace your fingers the opposite way this time. Turn the palms up, breathe in, tighten everything. And breathe out, let go. Let your knees bend. Let them rock a bit from side to side. Put your arms in a position that you can really feel your upper back, your neck and shoulders start to release. Explore the position between your feet, a little wider apart, a little closer together. Then let the movement stop and bring your thighs up into your chest, your hands to your shins or the backs of your thighs. And just take a few breaths, making yourself as small as you can. So some of you will be able to bring your nose to your knees and grab your feet. Let those shoulders drop down and just breathe in and breathe out here. And then bring your torso back down, put your feet on the floor. If your back bothers you, keep your knees bent. Otherwise, stretch your legs out. Bring your arms to the ground in a T-like position or a goalpost position or on the floor above the head. Take a breath in and a breath out as you bring the right thigh to the chest. Breathe in, stretch out. Breathe out, do the other side. And do this about 3 or 4 more times on each side. If you want, you can bring your nose up to your knee as long as it doesn't hurt your neck and shoulders. Remember, you are in charge of the number of repetitions you do. And if you do something that's causing you pain or strain, you should probably ask yourself why you keep doing it, because moving yourself through pain isn't really a very good idea. Try to do an equal number on each side if you can. And when you finish, take a moment, pause, just really check in, make sure you're practicing that act of non-harming. Let your knees bend, let them rock a bit from side to side. If your back hurts, you can bend the knees, put your hand on the floor and press up to a seated position. But if you don't have any back or tailbone problems, you may find that you love doing these spinal rocks. And some of you may be even able to come up to this squat position, because I know that you love to do that. And then once you get up to a seated position, just find a comfortable position. Use your blocks or blankets to lift the hips and tilt the pelvis. And just start to roll your shoulders. It's really not the same when I don't have all of you in front of me giving me sass and feedback, but that's okay. We'll do what we can do. Roll the shoulders the other way. It's good. Take a deep breath in, bring both shoulders up into your ears, and then just let them drop down. Let your chin drop down to your collarbone and just bring a little bit of movement into the neck, letting the chin roll gently from side to side. Start to notice how the neck feels. Bring your head back to the center and lift your gaze up. And slowly drop your right ear to your right shoulder. You can take your left hand and just place it on the floor. And stay where you are, or perhaps take that right hand, bring it up. Try to check in with your breath. If your neck's feeling good today, you may want to try to turn your head and look down at your right shoulder. Again, working with the breath. Bring your gaze back to the center. Lower the hand down. Draw your chin across the center of your chest. Lift your head up and drop your left ear to your left shoulder. You can stay here or bring that left hand up and just let the weight of your exhalation draw the ear towards the shoulder. Follow the rhythm of your breath, not forcing the breath, but knowing that you are breathing. And again, check in with the neck, and if you can turn the head and look down towards that left shoulder, do that. Bring the gaze back to the center. Let the hand come down. Draw the chin across the chest. Lift your head up. Lift your spine tall. And on your next exhalation, turn your head as far to the right as you can. Look right out of the corners of your eyes. Follow the breath. Bring your head back to the center. And turn your head the other way. Try to let the shoulders drop. Come back to the center. Lift your chin up to the ceiling. Lower your chin down to your chest. Lift your chin up to the ceiling. Take your bottom lip and tuck it right up to your nose, stretching into your neckline. Release the lip and drop the chin down to the chest. Once more, just let the chin roll a bit. And then bring your head up. Take your legs, stretch them out, bounce into your knees. Rock everything out a bit. Try to sit nice and tall. So use those blocks or blankets or just grab your glutes and adjust them. It's good. Point and flex your feet. You know, just like we always say, shake like a bowl of jelly. Try to smile. I'm trying really hard to smile right now. It's good. Let the movement stop. Keep your right leg straight. Bend your left knee and just grab your leg and cradle it. Try not to lean back. And just rock a bit from side to side. Just check out, see how your hips are doing today. Maybe do some circles, go both directions. And then pause, hold the leg however you can. Any of you who know pigeon pose, think of this as being a variation of pigeon pose. Work with your breathing. Some of you out there, I know you can put those legs around your head, so go ahead and do that. Then take that left leg down, bring the foot against the inner thigh, and just walk your body forward. And forward can be right here. Forward can be a little farther forward. Maybe you hold your foot. Maybe you drop your gaze. But honestly, you are your own best guide, so do what's best for you. And then bring yourself all the way back up. Put that left foot on the floor. I'm just going to turn around. And take your right hand to the left leg. Bring the other hand behind your back and sit up nice and tall as you begin to twist to the left. If you want to, you can bring the elbow to the outside of the knee. You can bring around your hand and grab your hands. If this left foot is in too close, slide it a little farther away. Head's the last thing to move. And again, follow the rhythm of your breath. It tells you your story. And bring yourself back to the center. Let the knee drop down. And once more, take your body forward. Remember, how you place your hands has a relationship to your shoulders. So if you're grabbing and rounding, think about placing your hands where you can really draw the shoulders back. Work your feet. And then bring yourself all the way up. Bring that leg up, stretch it out, and bounce it out. And then, good news is you have another side. So bend that right knee, bring the leg up. Notice the difference from side to side because it's not very often that we're the same on both sides. And start to rock a bit without leaning back. Use some of that core strength rather than the tailbone and the low back. Go into the circles. Go both directions. Just allowing those hips to warm. And then pause, sit up as tall as you can. So resist leaning back. Sit up. Your leg might be here. And, you know, wherever you are is perfect. Listen to your breathing. Good. And then put that right leg down. Adjust the glutes a bit. Use your props under your knees if you need them. Try not to lock this left leg. And start going forward. Press out through that left toe mound. Draw that left hip back. Let the shoulders soften. Try to follow your breath. When our mind is present within our breath, the risk of injury is much less because we're within what we're doing. When our mind's wandering, the risk of injury might be a little more relevant. Bring yourself all the way back up. Put that right foot on the floor. Bring the opposite hand to the leg. Bring the other hand behind the back. And start to gently twist. You can bring the elbow to the knee. You can adjust the foot forward if you find yourself leaning back. You can bring the arm under the leg. Hold the hand behind your back. And just let the head be the last thing to turn. Use the power of the drishti, your gaze. Look out of the corners of the eyes. Might as well strengthen your eyes. Take one more breath in. And one more breath out. And then slowly find your way back. Let that knee drop down. And then take the body forward. Drop your shoulders. Keep breathing. Good. And then bring yourself up. Bring that knee up. Stretch the leg out. Rock it out. Rotate the ankles. Go the other way. Point and flex again, really rocking. And then as you move into Paschimottanasana or your forward fold, once more, adjust your glutes. Start with the knees bent, heels on the floor, toes up, and start to take your ribs, your torso towards your thighs. And if this is your forward fold, that's perfect. For some of you, you may walk the heels forward, walk the glutes back a bit, get the legs a little straighter, hold the feet. Wherever you are is perfect for you. Drop your shoulders. Follow the breath. Honestly, do what you can do and be grateful for what you're doing. Either walk your hands up your legs to come up or extend the arms forward. Bring yourself all the way up and release your arms down. Bounce it out. If you can cross your ankles, come onto your hands and knees, do that. Otherwise, just, get here however you can. If you need some padding under your knees, use a blanket or double up your mat. Tuck your 10 toes under, send your bottom back to your heels, and just let the bottom rock a little bit over the heels. Soften your elbows, let the shoulders sway a little bit. And then bring yourself back up onto your knees. Try to have your knees below your hips. Lift the knees up. Draw the shoulders down. Imagine that I gave you a wooden block to hold between your inner upper thighs. And imagine that you like doing this, so try to smile. Good, bring the knees down, put the tops of the feet on the floor, send the hips back to child's pose. Stack your fists if you're feeling dizzy or you have any high or low blood pressure. Good, then find your way back up onto your hands and knees. Tuck the toes, lift the knees, and this time see if you can send your hips back. Not up, but back. I know there's some of you lifting your hips, drop them. Good, bring the hips back above the knees. Open your shoulders, try not to hang your head. Keep breathing. So I know that some of you want to stop, but I know that you shouldn't. Keep breathing. Send the hips back. This time, maybe lift the hips up, send them up and back, and find your downward dog. Remember, if you have high or low blood pressure, you're feeling dizzy, you can always go to child's pose. Maybe walk that dog out. Make sure that the weight isn't going forward into the hands, and if that's the case, you might need to move the hands wider apart, move the feet a bit farther apart, and bend the knees, sending the hips up and back, especially if it's your back or your hamstring. Take one more breath in and one more breath out, and then bring yourself back down onto your knees. Send your hips back. This time you might want to open the knees, touch the toes, come down to your elbows, support the head, or extend the arms forward. And then bring yourself back up. This time, come all the way up onto the knees and tuck your 10 toes under. Bring your hands to the glutes and send your hips forward. Start sliding the hands down the glutes, squeezing the shoulder blades. Lift the sternum and move into a gentle back bend. Follow the rhythm of your breath. And if I hold anything too long, you have the ability to come out of it whenever you want to, or whenever you're finding that it's just too much. Take one more breath in and one more breath out, and then bring yourself all the way up. Put the tops of the feet on the floor, bend from the hip creases, and start coming forward. It's always a good idea to pause halfway and just make sure that you're not dizzy. You can stay here, stack the fists, or go all the way down. Find your way all the way back up. So you can repeat what you just did, or you can tuck your toes to stay here. Some of you may want to reach back and start holding the heels. So I know that there's a bunch of you doing this. You need to lift, press the hips forward. Any of you who come to the wall classes, think about hip bones on the wall. You can take your gaze towards the ceiling, and you can tell I'm breathing because I'm talking to you. So make sure that you're not holding your breath. Take one more breath. Pause. Rock the bottom across the heels. This is your time to check in. Make sure you're practicing truthfulness to yourself, practicing non-harming. You can stay here in child's pose if you like, or you can come up onto your hands and knees, tuck your toes, lift the knees and the back, and then up to find downward dog. Don't be afraid of a bit of movement. You know, our body gets used to doing the same thing over and over and over again. And that's how we start to create our habits. So, you know, explore downward dog a bit. Don't strive to get the heels down. I get a deeper stretch with my knees bent often. And then as you come forward, come into a standing forward fold or half fold, the way that feels best for you. You can hold your elbows and add a little movement, swaying. Adjust your feet if you need to for your balance, for your stability. And then release your arms and walk your hands up your legs. Let your head be the last thing to come up. Roll your shoulders back, roll them down, and just let your arms swing a little bit. Go back and forth from your toes to your heels. Try not to stick your bottom out and thrust your pelvis forward. Think about staying like one unit. You can smile. Keep going. One more up, one more down, and then just shake it out a bit. So in standing postures, your feet are your foundation. Set your foundations so the outside edges of your feet are parallel. They can be together if that's better for you. And lift your arms up. If your shoulders hurt, keep your hands on your hips. Take a long breath in, and as you breathe out, bend to the right. Try to lift up so the hips are above the ankles, as opposed to this. And come all the way up. Let those shoulders soften and go the other way. Again, not here, but lifting, lifting, lifting. Try to lift your toes, the arches of your feet. Good, all the way up. Lower your hands down. My kids are making faces up. Heel toe your feet apart. Good, hands to hips or arms up. Take a breath in. Bending to the right. Squeeze your inner upper thighs. Come on, I see a bunch of you not using your legs. I haven't forgotten, you know. Good, come all the way up. Shoulders soften. Other way. Keep your breath. And all the way up. Lower the arms. Hands to hips, heel toe your feet a little bit wider apart. So draw the legs towards each other. Keep the hands on the hips or lift the arms again. And bend right. Try to drop the ribs. Breathing. All the way back up, shoulders drop, other way. So just let me take this time to apologize to anybody in teacher's training because I truly understand your nerves now. Come all the way up and release the hands. Bend the knees, so try to bend here at the hip creases. Put the elbows on the thighs. Stay here. Or you might be able to take these pointer and middle fingers under the big toes, touch your thumbs, bend the elbows, drop the glutes, stay there. If you're not dizzy, drop the head down. And if you're able to begin to straighten your legs, start to straighten your legs. And straight is, you know, different for each one of us. Bend the knees, lift the torso, straighten the arms, release the feet, bring the arms forward, lift the head up, and come all the way up to standing. Lower the arms and heel toe your feet together. Go back and forth from your toes to your heels. Are you having fun now? This is good. Bring yourself to the very front of your mat. Place your hands on your hips. Come up on the balls of your feet and walk back. And then walk forward. And stop. You can always use your walls, remember, if you need to. So now step back with your right foot. Don't be afraid to wobble, obviously. My balance is a bit off today. Lift your heels and bend your knees. Now imagine that I took one of those green foamy blocks that y'all love and put it between your inner upper thighs. Squeeze into that block as you bring yourself all the way back up. And coming down, keeping top and bottom half of the body connected here, right at the core, that natural curve of your spine. Come up again. And come down once more. It's always a good idea to breathe even when I don't remind you to. And come all the way up. Lower the front foot down. Back foot comes down at a slight angle and your hips point straight ahead. You slowly begin to come halfway forward, putting a tiny bend in the front knee. Extend the arms out like an airplane. Stay there or keep your hands on the hips or rotate your shoulders. Bring your hands, interlacing the fingers to chest expander. You can stay halfway or you can begin to take the torso forward, maintaining that natural curve of your neck. Unclench your teeth, your toes, and as you come all the way back up, use your legs. Keep the arms lifted, all the way up, dropping the shoulders, and release the arms out to a T. Now shift the weight to the front foot. Come up on the balls of the back foot and place the top of the foot on the floor. And imagine that you're pulling the top of your foot towards the front foot. So hopefully you feel that stretch. If you don't, you need to change what you're doing. Now roll over your toes, bend the front knee, and you can stay here, starting to come forward. Or if you like, you start to lift that back leg off the floor and straighten the front. Don't be afraid to fall out of this because, you know, I'll fall out of it at some point one of these days, or maybe now. To come out of it, you bend the knee, the toes come back to the floor, you bring the back heel to the floor, you straighten the front leg, and bring your hands to your hips. You take the back foot, step it forward, and go back and forth from your toes to your heels. Come up on the balls of the feet, walk to the back of the mat, walk forward again. Good, and this time, the other leg goes back. Whoa, see, told you I'd fall. Lift your heels, come down into the squat. I think smiling probably helps, but you know, my face is frozen, so I can't smile right now. Bring yourself back up. Coming back down. I know all of you who come in the mornings know I never remember the number that we've done on each side. And sadly, you're not here to remind me. But I think there's one more, so come on back down. And back up. It's good. Lower the front foot. Lower the back foot. Lift the arms up. Start coming forward. You can keep the arms out. If you are interlacing your fingers, interlace them the opposite way that you did. Micro bend in that knee. As you begin to come a little farther forward, perhaps you begin to straighten the leg, unclenching the teeth and the toes, trying as best you can to square the hips, but you know, don't follow me. Keep breathing. As you come up, the head's the very last thing to come up, but try to keep those arms lifting. Squeeze your inner upper thighs, front hip back, back thigh forward. Release the arms. Shift the weight on the back foot. Roll to the top of the foot and pull it forward, stretching the top of the foot. Good. Roll back over the toes, bend the front knee. Go halfway forward and stay there. Or lift the back foot off the floor. Begin to straighten the front leg. Keeping your breath. Keep breathing. You bend the knee, lower the toes down. Lower the foot down. Straighten the front leg. And step back to the front of the mat. Take a breath in and a breath out As you start to fold the body, remember you can go halfway forward or all the way forward. Do what's best for you. You can adjust your feet farther apart or close together. Just see what feels better. Place your hands on the floor beside your feet. Come onto your hands and knees into tabletop and go back to child's pose, or lift your bottom, tuck your toes, and find downward dog from a different approach. Walk the dog out if you like. Keep breathing. And then get back to your standing half or full fold, however it feels best for you. Maybe you take as many tiny steps as you can. If you held your elbows last time, hold them the other way this time. Depending on how balance is, you may want to go back and forth from your toes to your heels. And then release your arms. Either walk your hands up the legs if your back hurts, or come up with the ears between the arms and lower the arms down. Just roll your shoulders out, forward and back and forth from toes to heels. Good, and let the movement stop. So with your hips pointing straight ahead, keep your right foot where it is and step your left leg back so the toes are tucked under. Good. Drop down if you can, keep the front knee and heel in line. Keep the natural curve of your spine. Keep your breathing. Try to smile, because I know some of you aren't. And don't turn us off and go get breakfast. Keep breathing. Bend the back knee. Don't let it go to the floor unless you need to, and then let it go to the floor. You know you better than anybody. Straighten the leg. Keep the hands where they are, or extend them forward and open them up. And then bring the torso forward. Keep the knee bent, bring the torso back up. Bring the arms forward. You can come back to standing how you like, or bend that back knee and step into this chair position. And just relax in your chair. And then bring yourself back up, hands down, and switch legs. Right leg goes back, bend the left knee, knee and heel in line, natural curve of your spine. Try to smile. You can keep your arms here or here, or some of you may want your arms up. Do what's best for you. That action of front hip back, back thigh forward, bend the front knee, keep your breathing. Really make sure you put the arms at a place that it benefits you. Keep your neck in line with your spine. Straighten the leg. You may want to take the body forward, unclench those 5 front toes. Keep your neck long. Keep the front knee bent. Bring yourself back up. As you come back to standing, get there how you like, or bend that back knee. Step forward into the chair position. Natural curve of your spine. Sitting a little lower, sending those hips back. Lowering the arms to the elbows to the thighs. And stay there, or grab your ankles, bend your elbows, drop your head, and come into your forward fold. Follow the rhythm of your breath. Place your hands on the floor beside your feet. Step back to downward dog if it's comfortable. Otherwise, put your knees on the ground and go to child's pose. Walk the dog out. Bring your knees to the mat, onto your hands and knees. Put the tops of your feet on the floor. Place your elbows on the ground below your shoulders and press your palms together. Tuck your toes in. Stretch one leg back. Stretch the other leg back. And find this half plank position. I know that you all like this position. I know that you all love to hold it. And I know that we always talk about Gerda when we're in this position. So let's send some loving kindness out to Gerda. Take one more breath in and one more breath out. I think you can take one more breath in and one more breath out. And then bring your knees to the ground. Release your hands, tops of the feet to the floor. Move your bottom back to the heel, supporting your head or not, it's up to you. A little bit of rocking the bottom across the heels can help release hips and low back. From here, extend the arms, lift the bottom, move the knees and feet apart, tuck the toes, hips up and back, downward dog. Child's pose is your option. And then jump, walk or step your feet to your hands. And pay attention to how you got there. Did you lift your hands? Don't judge it. Just start to notice your habits. Walk your hands up the legs or extend the arms forward and come all the way up. Arms up or hands to hips. Bend left, all the way up, and bend right, all the way up. Add a back bend so your palms can be on your glutes, on the backs of your thighs. Hold your elbows, truly do what benefits you, but lift your chest, squeeze your shoulder blades, and lengthen your neck. Listen to your breathing. If you find yourself holding your breath, slowly begin to find it again. Your legs bring you all the way up. Fold forward from the hip creases, a full or half fold. Step back to downward dog or go tabletop to child's pose. Walk this out. So if you don't think you're going to like what we do next, go back into half plank, especially if you have shoulder or wrist problems. Otherwise, from this downward dog position, lift your heels, bend your knees, and shift yourself into a full plank position. Try not to sag at the belly. Try not to hang the head. Send your heels back. Keep your breath strong. Again, you may want to stop, but try not to. If you're in pain, then you should stop. Bend the knees, send the hips up and back, downward dog. Breathing the natural curve of your spine. And again, heels lift, knees bend slightly, weight shifts, plank position. Follow the rhythm of your breath. From here, put your knees on the ground, the tops of the feet on the floor. Bend your elbows in and lower yourself down. Place your hands under your shoulders, lift your forehead, nose, chin, chest, coming up to this baby cobra. And you can stay here if this is your happy place today, or lift your hands, or extend the arms out, point the fingers back, follow the rhythm of your breath, and some of you may like to lift your legs up. Keep breathing. Remember, use your glutes, just don't overuse them. Legs come down, arms come back, hands come under the shoulders, lower chest, chin, nose, forehead, press all the way up to tabletop. Send your hips back to child's pose. Either stay in child's pose or lift the bottom, tuck the toes, send the hips back, and find downward dog. You can walk the dog out, and then find your way back to a full standing fold or a half fold. Walk the hands up the legs or extend the arms forward, come all the way up, and lower the arms down. Shake it out, walk it out. As we find our way back down onto the ground into a seated position, you can sit down, especially if you have hip or ankle problems. Otherwise, come up onto the balls of the feet and slowly start to lower yourself down into a squat position. Now, if you need to go down to a seated position from here, go down into it. If you're leaning forward, try to lift your spine, and then you might as well come back up. Start to lower yourself back down. Notice if you're breathing. Imagine that you were doing this with a block between your inner thighs. And then bring yourself back up. Shoulders are soft. Bring yourself back down. From here, maybe you go from your toes to your heels to your bottom. Bring your hands to the ground. Scoot yourself back. Put your heels on the floor. Take your torso forward. Find that forward fold that feels good for you, whether it's here, maybe it's here. Walk yourself back. You can always use straps if you have them. Just move to what feels best for you this morning. Take one more breath in and one more breath out. Remember, if it's back or hamstrings, move your legs farther apart, bend your knees. And maybe take one more breath in and one more breath out. Either walk the hands up the legs or come up with the ears between the arms and release the arms down. So if you're sitting on a block now, slide it out. You might need to sit on a blanket for your tailbone. Bend the knees, hold the backs of the thighs, walk the heels back, and sit here like this. And this, don't be afraid to wiggle around a bit till you find that place of balance. This might be where you are happiest this morning, trying to resist this. It's really lift up, let the shoulders drop, draw the elbows in. You might want to lift one leg, take it down, lift the other leg, take it down. You can keep repeating that, or you might want to lift one leg and lift the other leg. Knees and feet, try to keep them equal distance apart so they can be right apart. And if this boat is sinking, lift it up. Drop your shoulders. I know you can smile. No washroom breaks. Keep holding this. You can bring the arms out. Drop the shoulders. You can bring the arms up. You can begin to straighten the legs, lower the arms, lift the chest. What feels the best for you? Then bend the knees, support the legs, lift the spine, heels down, walk the bottom back, tip the pelvis forward, be there, or walk yourself all the way to your forward fold today. Keep the neck long. Use your feet. You're not standing on them anymore, but use them. Big toe mounds forward, little toe mounds forward. Other 6 toes draw back. And then walk your hands up your legs or extend your arms, come all the way up. And bring the arms down, just bounce it out, shake it out. Good news, we're coming down onto our back. Don't get excited, it's not quite Shavasana. You can bend your knees. You can lie down however you like. You can curl down slowly, or some of you may love these spinal rocks. Stay little. Don't make it an exercise in whiplash. Connect with your breath. And once you get all the way down, stop. Let your knees rock a bit. Adjust your neck. If you need those blankets under your neck, take them, put them under the neck. Lift your feet up off the floor. Hold the shins, the backs of the thighs. Hold your feet. Tip your chin in. Bring your nose to your knees if it feels good. You might want to add a little bit more rocking. And then take the head down. Open the arms. If you have back problems, you can put your feet on the floor. Turn the palms down, turn them up, see what feels better. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, drop your knees to the right. Take your gaze left, center, or right. Draw your palms lightly towards your shoulders lightly towards your spine. Come back to the center. Exhale to the other side. Go through that same self-exploration of where should your arms be. You can always bring that one hand to the top knee. Bring it back to the center. If you like, repeat it once more on each side. If not, just finish with your thighs in at your chest. Releasing the back. Some of you know and like happy babies, so you can always go there. Remember that it's important that the baby's happy. So, you know, if your shoulders are in your ears and you're gritting your teeth and wishing you hadn't tuned in, you should probably change what you're doing. Rock a little bit. You can bring one knee down, stretch one leg up. Explore your practice. The good news is I'm not watching you. So you can really do whatever you want today. Good, release, bring your knees in. You might want to stretch your legs up, slide your arms up your legs, open the legs and stay there. Or tip the chin down and come up, making sure that you are releasing your back. Torso comes down, legs come up, arms come to the floor overhead or down at your sides if your shoulders hurt. You can bend your breath and just tighten and a long, loud, letting go exhalation as you release your practice. You may need to do that one more time. There may be some last movements that you need before you prepare yourself for Shavasana. And as you move into Shavasana, just make sure that whatever position you choose to be in, you feel supported. So it could be legs up the wall, it could be knees bent, it could be a seated position. Just find that comfortable position, make sure that you're warm, and come back and connect with your breath. The one thing that we all have in common is our breath. Breath is life. I inhale peace. I exhale as I begin to release. Slowly, the warmth of relaxation moves through my body and across my mind. All the areas of tension begin to melt away. My jaw softens, my tongue falls freely. Breath by breath, I begin to let go. I'm aware of the gentle rhythm of my own heart beating. And I lie in gratitude for the sound of my heart beating. I visualize the white light of peace that shines all around me, and the white light that shines brightly within my heart. I try to allow my mind to rest within that light at heart center, breathing in and breathing out as I try to let go. Slowly and gently, awareness begins to return. Just allowing movement back into the fingers and into the toes. You might find bending the knees and letting them rock a bit from side to side helps release the back. You may find that you're ready to roll over onto one side for a breath or two, supporting the head and the bottom arm. And truly pause for a breath or two as you start the transition back to your day. Remember to take the kindness you show yourself when you're practicing on your mat out there into your daily world. Find your way back up to a comfortable seated position. Seal your hands back at heart center. Bow your head to your own heart in gratitude to yourself for taking time just for you today. Thank you for sharing your time with me today. Tune in next time, see what happens. You never know. Namaste.